Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 2 of Tale of 4 2nd edition Warhammer 40,000 Gamers. This is a show where 4 of us, that's us 4, build armies for a game system we have not yet learnt. And we build the armies over many months, and we learn the game over many months. We probably end that with an event. And you can also play along if you want to build a 2nd edition 40k army. You can build it along with us, and we will be showing what you've done this month at the end of this episode. Hi, the other gamers. I should introduce everybody in case you don't know them. So, below me here is Bobbie. Hi, Bobbie.
Hi.
Hi. To the diagonal bottomness is Nathan. Hello, Nathan. That way.
Hello.
And just next to me here is Russ. Hi, Russ. Russ is going to do something odd. Russ always does something odd at that point. Yes. But if you're watching this, you probably know what Tale of 4 Gamers is because you're probably old and you used to read it in White Dwarf. So it's basically the same idea as that. However, before we start on our Tale of 4 Gamers journey, I will point out that we, as always, have messages. As always, there is merch. If you would like to get some Arbitrium merch, there is merch on the channel. It is showing here. Just follow the link in the thing below. We have t-shirts and hoodies and socks, and people are buying them all, which is great. I even, Mira got some socks, and I actually saw them for the first time the other day, so that was quite nice. And they look all right, actually. They're quite good. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with them. And then finally, one thing I would like to point out, the Heroes Guild. So our friend Gary Askham from the Hate Club has opened a new gaming bar in Walthamstow called the Heroes Guild. It opened last weekend. We'll talk about it in a second because it's potentially going to fold into this Tale of 4 Gamers. But if you want to play board games or war games and you're near Walthamstow it's northeast London, then you can go to the Heroes Guild, check it out. This is a picture of the webpage. Search for it. It's great. You should all go. It's brilliant. That's all the messages, everybody.
So the other good thing about it is the terrain's all very nice because Gary is also a big part of Illusionary Terrain, and so they have an incredibly impressive Mordheim table, lovely tables for other systems, Zone Mortalis, and battles in the 41st millennium and the 31st millennium, and I dare say you could even play some Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, we went down there the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, it was really good.
It was a really big space as well. It's not like a small little room. It's got plenty of space, lots of nice big tables, and tables that go up and down. Which,
so this is
for an old man with bad back. That was awesome.
This is actually the thing one of the things I really liked about the Heroes Guild, and the secret information I got was that where those tables came from.
He told us, and I was going to bring that up, and I've forgotten.
So Gary's just opened it. His previous job, sort of current job he still occasionally does, is as a video editor, working on film and TV and in like VFX. And apparently the tables we have used to be the edit suite for the Odyssey, or at least one of the edit suites for the Odyssey. They built them to do the editing, and they go up and down for that reason. They are standing tables. So they just sort of, Dan from Hate Club went over and built them some new benches to go with them. But the intention is that they can go down when you're playing board games, and then you can just raise them up for playing war games, which is a really good idea.
It's a bit of a game changer. I'm surprised people haven't done that before, but it was really comfy to sit at that table.
Yeah, so he's got this you're right. It's like a complex, really. It's like 3 or 4 rooms. One of them's like a big venue, stagey place. There's the traditional cheesy slash curtain at one end of the gaming room.
Well, I went to say when we were there, it was very reminiscent of Hate, that it feels like you're playing up on stage, which is. I wonder if Dan was like, hey, I don't mean Dan. I wonder if Gary was a bit like, hey, we can bring back like the vibe of Mag's Bar and revive Hate by having a stage with a sparkly tinsel curtain.
Yeah. It was really fun. It's a really nice space. It's going to need some work to make it fully functional, but they've got their first events like in a month's time. And I'm speaking to him about potentially, not confirmed yet, so no one booking anything, but potentially doing an event for the end of this at Heroes Guild, probably December. So we'd give ourselves to December, do some sort of event based on what he's got there. So that's kind of what we've been thinking about with this. Heroes Guild, check it out. It's a lovely venue. We played Chaos in the Old World.
Yeah. Who won? Who won again?
Ed won.
Yeah, by staying in the corner and not getting into any fights.
Yeah, and I
beat each other up.
I came second with Rattos because we've never actually managed to get 5 people together to play a full game of Chaos of the Old World with the Horned Rat expansion. So this is the first time we've ever done that. I don't think that's happened many times.
No.
Can I add one more bit of news as well that I've just noticed while I've been sitting here looking at the screen?
Yeah.
So I don't look at myself very often on, like, you know, I obviously wash my face in the mirror, but I tend to, you know, not really think about what I'm looking at. And what I've just noticed is when my beard's gone, it's like white here and here. You got little bits of white here, and you got like dark around here and here.
Yeah.
And I do look a lot like the John Blanche black and white version of Jack Draco when he was blatantly Sean Connery.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So
in fact,
my beard is sort of channeling Jack Draco.
Maybe that's what we should bear in mind for when we inevitably do Tale of 4 cosplayers, 40k cosplayers. Will be the characters from that. You know, I'll be the Harlequin man. Gary can be Grim the Squat. It'll be
I
great.
feel like that's what has to happen now.
Melindy is up for claiming.
Hang on, was Melindy?
I don't know who else is in it.
Human?
I think that's basically it. It was him, Grim the Squat, and Melindy.
Oh, the assassin.
The assassin, yeah, it turns into a gene stealer.
Yeah, the gene stealer assassin.
I'm just looking at it here. Alexandro Darquibus from the Imperial Fists.
Oh yeah, who's the character in Space Marine, in the Space Marine novel?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, you could be Jack Draco in that, and we could be the old hammeriest cosplayers ever.
No one would know what the fuck they were looking at.
They'd be like, what?
But that's the best cosplay,
maybe a Space
right?
Marine.
Surely the best cosplay ones, so that where everyone goes, that's really impressive, but I have no fucking clue what it is. They are so cool. How it works.
Well, everyone would know because we'd have spent 6 months learning how phone works, apart from Bobbie, who actually knows how to do that sort of thing.
Vaguely, yeah.
Gary's not bad.
Yeah, actually, Gary's quite good at that sort of thing. Anyway, brilliant. So, look, that's kind of our news. We had, because obviously, mostly what the things we've been doing this month have been building and painting models. We haven't played any games of second edition, so we're not any more up on the rules than we were last month. But we do have progress for you. I think I've started this time round with Mr. Nathan. Nathan,
ooh, okay.
How has your fledgling hive fleet been going?
It's been going good, actually. I think the hardest thing with NIDS is your colours, because you can basically do anything, right? So I did quite a lot of, just sort of playing around. A lot of it was a bit of a while ago. I kind of knew what I didn't want to do, because when I first had a few Tyranid models, I kind of splodged a bit of different colours on, and I kind of quickly learned that it's actually quite hard to pick a decent looking Tyranid scheme. They can get a bit ick and not very nice, and
I imagine they can also very easily get a bit busy.
Yeah, that's it. It's trying to keep it relatively, you know, that whole kind of like, you want sort of 2 contrasting colors, you know, the armor on one color and kind of the flesh the other color, but also getting that to work with the base as well. And I kind of wanted the base to be relatively second ed. So, you know, kind of green as well. So anyway, I had a bit of a play. I came up with a color scheme that I quite liked to try and keep things simple for doing NIDS. What I wanted to do is I decided I wanted to do all the kind of carapacey bits bone, right? I thought that was really good. It looked really good with this kind of pinky, purpley sort of color. I thought bone and purple, right, that'll work. So what I'll do is I'm only going to use contrast. I'm not going to make it too, you know, complicated. Make it easy and quick to paint. I'm going to spray everything bleach bone. I'm going to give it a wash with, you know, just a brown wash, and then dry brush it white. And that's basically the bone done.
Yeah.
And that's my base coat. And then I can do all the contrast over the top. So that's kind of was the plan. It's just
I imagine that works really well with these sort of gene stealers where the fleshy bits are kind of above the bony bits.
Yeah. Well, the problem is I then decided to do Gene Stealers as my kind of first unit. but they don't really have any bone. So I then proceeded to cover up all of the bone with color. So, the other bits that aren't purple basically are kind of a green. So I ended up with this sort of, if you know me, half of my armies are green and purple. I just can't get away from it. So after all of my kind of test Tyranids, I still ended up doing something that I normally do anyway.
I do like that we've replaced Gary for this with you, and both of you have that problem.
Yeah, very much.
We have not Gary for similar things in previous, but for exactly that thing in previous ones of these.
Yeah, it's a formula. It works. I'm not for changing. That's it. That's my color scheme. I've managed to get this done, which was my first unit. I was pretty happy with it. Got a sort of, traditional-ish base. You can see in the background there, I picked up some second ed terrain.
Yes.
Not really hobby progress, more kind of, just picking bits up of eBay. But that will be coming to a table near you soon, which will be a fun afternoon's project. That's kind of, I'm trying to get a lot of the big units done. I've only got 2 really big units, which is this and like a large Tyranid unit. Termagant unit.
Yeah.
So that's one of the kind of big units out the way. And then as a bit of a kind of sort of more of a palette cleanser, I did my first bigger model, which is the Zoanthrope.
Yes.
And that kind of shows off the whole bony idea.
Yeah, that looks brilliant. It looks great. Me and Russ were talking, right? And we were trying to, we think you should name all of your things. And we were trying to think, we wondered that this should be Zoanthrope KRAVITZ. And you could also have a Zoanthrope Ball. And what was the other one we thought of?
Gene Stealer Simmons.
Gene Stealer Squad Simmons.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Gene Stealer Kelly.
Yeah, that's right.
Billy Gene Stealer.
But yes, that's good. Yeah.
So
if we keep coming, guys, keep it coming.
Yeah,
that's
so,
great.
I claim every single model in your army as some variation on Gene Stealer or Gene something Stealer.
I'll have to write the names on every single base, which would be a real pain.
Shaka Carnifex.
That's good. And I think maybe those little nameplates that people stick to the rims.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can 3D print them for you.
I mean, let's do it. Let's do it. It sounds great. I'm all in. That sounds awesome.
I came up with. I typed in famous genes onto Gene Stealer Wilder, Gene Stealer Hackman, Gene Stealer Kelly, Gene Stealer Simmons. There's others who aren't famous enough for me to have heard of them, but there's lots of them.
As long as I've only got 12 Gene Stealers. So,
so I was going to go with Splinter Fleet 501 as well.
Because they're genes.
Oh, very good.
Imperial designation 50 Splinter Fleet 501.
You mean are they a Splinter Fleet of Leviathan?
Yes. Yes. Leviathan 501. Leviathan Splinter Fleet 501. That was deliberate. I thought of that when I came up with it, honest.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So anyway, we've all dubbed your Zoanthrope KRAVITZ.
Love it. He's getting a nameplate.
Long may they gribble. Anyway, good progress on pink Tyranids. I like these armies feel manageable. And talking about manageable armies of a sensible size, it's Bobbie.
Oh,
hey Bobbie, how are you?
Good, thank you. I've been painting
having
many
fun painting?
Imperial Guard. I've got quite a few Guardsmen painted. I think about 25 so far. And I don't actually really have. I don't really have good terrain to lay out quite so many. So I've done a few little photos of a few groups. There's a few conversions, like the sergeant with the chainsaw and the hand flamer who was in the previous photo. A lot of them are just the stock metal Cadian Imperial Guard because there's not a lot you can do with them because they're only one piece miniatures to start with. I've been painting them up, as I mentioned in the previous episode, trying to imitate the kind of like codex / box art camo scheme, which is why they got the red las guns and the green with black with sort of ochre spots on the camo. Yeah, I'm getting through them. There's quite a few more to go.
Yeah.
And I am trying to. Well, I mean, how many Imperial Guards do you need for an army? That's a very good question. More than I've got painted so far. I'm actually trying to get a game in this weekend at one of the bootleg Bring Out Your Lead events.
I wish they called it Bring Out Your Leg instead of Bring Out Your Lead.
Well, so yeah, bootleg Bring Out Your
Lead now.
So yeah, I'm going to be fighting another Imperial Guard army by the sounds of things. So it's going to be just a slog of incompetence and not being able to injure each other and just nobody dying because no one can hit or wound each other.
And keep you busy the whole weekend, though. Two Imperial Guards armies in 2nd edition. My word.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of miniatures on the table, and we'll see how it goes.
Just don't get into close combat, else that's it. You're there forever.
Oh yeah, we will be. I am gonna. I think my squad with the flamer and the sergeant with the chainsaw and the flame pistol might actually try and get into close combat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make it even more difficult by taking the hardened fighters upgrade, so that makes the rules even more complicated.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to be honest, if you're playing against Guard, it's the best chance you're going to get to kill anything in close combat with your army.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not much better than Gretchen, after all.
No.
Well, you've also got at least one big tank, right?
Yes, I've managed to get quite far through painting a Lehman Russ. Somewhat cheating by having already painted this Lehman Russ twice already. So it was already quite nicely base coated, so I didn't bother stripping it. This is the 3rd time I've painted this tank entirely with a brush. It was grey, and then it was a lighter tan colour, and I've sort of repainted it into this slightly darker deserty scheme with the green stripes, which is one of the Talon schemes. And it's the one that's on the unit card in the codex. So I've tried to match the camouflage markings, and there's a few differences because mine, when I built this originally, I put a bunch of extra stowage and stuff on it. So it doesn't look quite the same, but it really reminds me of the Lehman Russ squadrons from Final Liberation, the epic video game. Had the Talon Lehman Russes that were in this sort of colour scheme.
Great.
Yeah, it's been all right. It's not been too bad to paint a whole Lehman Russ with a brush. I was expecting it to be more painful, but...
Are you going to write Talon down the side of it, or Cadia?
This one is actually going to have, on the turret, is going to have a slogan, Remember Volistad, which is the main city in Final Liberation, because I want to reference that even more. But I've got a freehand, a bunch of Gothic text on a tank. I don't know.
Isn't this the era where tanks had flags?
It is, yes.
You could put a flag on the back of the tank.
I could. I'm somewhat reluctant to put flags on my tanks, just because if I've put them on one, I've got to put them on all of them. And it just seems like a lot more, even more surface area to paint on them.
Fair. Hey,
I might end up doing it, but it's not calling to me at the moment.
Well, it's all looking good. I'm glad you're getting some progress. God knows how many spotted Cadians you still have to go, but at least it's enough to get started.
Yeah. I think I've got 20 more odd Cadians to paint, and then I might be swapping over to another regiment to do something else for a bit.
So that's Imperial Guard and Tyranids. Russ, you've been doing lots of Harlequins, right? Oh, what have you been building, Russ?
I got distracted by finishing my Dol Guldur Nazgul, which, I think, I'm not quite 100% happy with how they turned out, but they're more than good enough.
Yeah, they look pretty.
Yeah, the Witch King looks very nice, and it gives me a second army for Middle-earth strategy battle game. It works out as like 920 points on the screen there. So I can do lots of different point values. I still want to play more Middle-earth. I enjoyed it a lot, and this gives me a different way of playing. And at some point, I'll paint up a load of Wild Riders and Orcs for these as well. Yeah. But for now, these are usable in this form.
Did you just get distracted by Middle-earth?
No, I got distracted by other things as well. I'll just do a quick shout out, though. That is, although you can't see much of it, that is another John Hodgson background book. Background book in the background. So anyone who wants to go and get another John Hodgson book, be aware there are now more of them. So go on.
You can get John Hodgson background books from Bad Squiddo. Half of our Discord has them.
Then the other thing I get distracted by, I've got a friend who I've played a couple of games of Epic against recently. Nathan has as well, actually, Paul. I've not done particularly well in the 2 games we played recently, nor in the games we played historically. And I decided that what I need is, obviously it's not my fault, it's my army's fault, or my dice. And I think it might be my dice fault, but that's something that I can't have much impact on. But I decided I needed a warp palace for my my Zinchi crowd. So I basically started making myself one. I need to do a little bit of sculpting on here. And I've got myself a whole bunch now of silver towers of Zinch as well for it. That look like they look like the old Man of War Bane towers, but they aren't. They're actually their own thing. So that's been most of my time. And then a few days ago, I decided I should paint at least one Harlequin for this. So I painted one Harlequin. But I do feel like it's going really quite well. As you can see, it's based on, but not an exact copy of one from White Dwarf 107. In what I think was the first advert for these particular Harlequins, but there might actually be, it's very possible that they were in an earlier White Dwarf as well. But
these photos were being used in a load of different White Dwarfs.
Exactly. So I still need to do the blue blobby bits on the pink top, and I need to paint the blue gems and do some shading on the gold, or what it's fulgurite copper actually, but I think it looks nicer than actual gold. But this one's almost finished. I need to do an outline on that heart and make it slightly stand out slightly, and then I think I'll call this one done.
Great.
And apart
probably
from
about
that,
50 points down anyway, so you know.
I mean, with the power sword there. And that is one of only, I think, 14 models that I need, or might even be fewer than that. But I need about 14 models for 1,000 points. So whilst this took quite a lot of time, I need to do another 13 of them, and I've got a 1,000-point army. So as you can see on the next photo, I had to practice doing those squiggles, and then I got to a point where it's like, oh fuck it, I'll just do it. Be all right on the night. Who needs to
great.
Very diligent.
But apart from that, you can see the squad Death Jester in the background, because that squad of 10 plus the Death Jester would be 600 points. If there's some rules in White Dwarf, I want to say 208 for playing low points value games. So if my opponents would let me combat squad these into 2 squads of 5, I could have 2 squads of 5, and a Death Jester would be a nice little 600 point.
Brilliant. Well, I'm glad that in amongst the MESBG and the Epic, you've got a Harlequin and some bases painted. But that's, you're 1/14 of the way there. And if we're doing this in December, you've still got
I've done some bloodletters as well.
Oh yeah, if you did a Harlequin a week, you'd probably be fine by December.
Yeah, I mean, I can knock these out now that they're top of my list now. They're number 1 priority now, so I can knock them out quickly.
Well, that only leaves me and my update. So I have been painting Necrons. So as I said in the last one, the full collection is about 50 models, 25 Necrons, 10 Scarabs, 10 Destroyers, and 5 like Lords and what were the Immortals that don't have rules in 2nd edition. So I started out, as always, doing these as a giant batch. So I started out basically doing all the silvers on the entire army. Once you've got the silver done, it's just details, which is the bit that actually takes time. So I sprayed the entire army with Army Painter gunmetal. With lead belcher, and then I highlighted the entire army, airbrushed zenithal highlighted it with Pro-Acryl. Actually, I just used the palest one they have, which is their basically metallic medium. It's just basically metallic white. It's quite thin metallic white. So I just did that on all of them. And then for the next stage, I then washed them all with Nuln Oil and then highlighted them all again with a mixture of silver and metallic medium to just make it as pale as possible. So these basically ended up quite a bit darker because of the shading. And then after this photo, I highlighted them up. So I did that to the entire army. That's the majority of my progress. Just did all 50 models like that. They are all ready for details. And then I started thinking about details. So I managed to get 5 guys painted, like after messing around a bit with colors, 5 guys painted. These are the 5 Necrons that are painted. You have to make a decision when doing these as to which bits aren't going to be metal. Lots of people do the guns black, and I didn't want to do that because it's fiddly as hell. So I decided to concentrate on one of the things I quite like painting bright colors, which is cabling. So I've done, all the Necrons have like quite a lot of cabling around their back and under their armpits and coming from their guns. So the rule was, if it's a gun-based thing, it gets painted blue. And if it's a not gun-based thing, it's just like the Necron's power source. It gets painted orangey yellow. So just like Nathan and Gary, I'm also sticking to the blue and orange rule from every other Tale of Four game. So yeah, all these guys have blue guns and blue gun cables, which is just painting them Corax white, then Talassar blue, and then a little highlight of a pale blue from Minotaur. And then they've got orange back cables and lenses and eyes, which are Gryph-hound orange and then highlighted with Avaland Sunset or Eandon Dark Sun, whichever one of those is current. And then I just did a few little gold details for their neck thingies, which is just gold and a brown wash. And that's it. That's literally it. Then I just went around and sort of tidied up the metal work. And I think they've kind of come out okay. They could have more variation, right? They could have more bits that are painted black. The gun could be separated. But I think this is enough, like, from a distance on the battlefield, they now look painted.
It's very, I think with Necrons, you need to take an attitude if you're painting an army, not a model sometimes.
Yeah.
But there was one other thing you did, which is bases.
Yeah, so there's a debate. So I've done them in desert basing because I've got a big pot of sludge and I wanted to use it, which I think is fine and makes them quite easy to do. But I did have a question. When I painted other things in desert basing, I've used, as you can see, brown tufts, but I also had this sheet of bright blue tufts. I was watching someone's second edition Midnight. Someone had been painting Talons, and they'd done Talons with like old second edition Talons with Martian red ground, and also the same red for their headscarves. And it worked really well. So I was like, well, what if I used all the blue plants on the desert? Would that be a nice little tie-in to the blue on the guns or something? I'm not sure if it, like, the other option is to use boring brown tufts on the desert, which definitely looks more realistic. But is it as fun, or does the blue look weird?
But the Necrons, it should be weird.
The other thing I was thinking is, do them on blue rocks? I could test one where the whole base is blue, but is that too much?
I think that's too much. In the spirit, though, of the episode so far, if you do keep them on bluegrass, and I've just done my Wikipedia research here, if you keep them on bluegrass bases, you will get to give them names such as Bill Monroe, Earl Scruggs, and Lester Flatt.
Yeah,
bluegrass pioneers of the American roots music that emerged in the 1940s in the Appalachian region.
Yeah. I could do that. I was going to call them all Ron, so they can be Necron. But yeah, we could go down that route. I could model them with a little banjo, maybe. I've got a few broken ones. Yeah, that would work. But basically,
I like the way that Necron doesn't have a neck. Is that why they call him Necron? As a bit of a
because he ain't got no neck. It's like calling the big guy tiny. So answers on a postcard or in the comments below if you prefer bluegrass or brown grass or bluegrass or brown grass on your Necrons. I've got 5 done, and I figured out that now I know what they are, I can probably paint 10 in an evening. I'm quite tempted. As someone pointed out, and we were talking about this the other day, and I don't know why I didn't think of this, but in one of the Citadel journals, there is a full army list for Adeptus Arbites. And I could have just done that, and that would have been sensible.
But you've already got a full army of Adeptus Arbites.
But I sort of stripped them all for repainting and haven't got around to finishing the repaint. So it would have been a great example of doing that. But hey ho, I'm a fool and forgot about that. Maybe if I get through the Necrons, I'll do some of those and see how that army worked. yeah, so that's my Necrons. Necrons are Necroning. They're looking very skeletony, which is great. That's where we are. So basically, now we've done our update, it's time for the first second edition community updates. We've got quite a lot. So if you don't know how this works, it's pretty simple. On the Patreon and YouTube membership schemes, there's various tiers, and the middle tier, the one that isn't the cheapest, gives you Discord access. The reason we do it that way, I know it limits how many people are on the Discord, but the reason we do it that way is because it's much easier for moderation that way. If you are on that level, then there is a Discord thread, and it is the second edition submission thread. And there's a thread where we're all like bigging each other up and looking at how we're doing our armies. And then every week we ask for people to submit a post containing their progress so far. And the idea is to sort of help people along, give people some deadlines so that they can actually get an army built at the same speed we do. So if you are interested in taking part, that's how you would do it. Of course, you're also welcome to just take part anyway and build along and post it on Instagram with hashtag saying Taylor 4 Gamers or something. Without further ado, let's go and have a look at the community update. First, our first submission in, as soon as we open submissions, ready to go. Wolves of Sibir has said, I decided to return to my Badab War Sons of Medusa army for second edition. I fleshed out my tactical squad and assault squad and managed to get my hands on a Rogue Trader era Land Raider. Although I'm using modern models, I hope my Sons of Medusa are still bright enough for second edition. They absolutely are. Actually, they're incredibly bright on that backdrop, which is very like, gritty metallic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have an army of bright green Marines, and these are fantastic.
Yeah, you do. You haven't decided what they are yet.
No, they could be anonymous Marines.
Yeah. Old-fashioned Land Raider there. I do love these. I've got a couple of them in my Heresy World Eaters army. They're absurdly easy to paint. Really simple to paint. They really work really well. They bear like great big bold schemes really well. So yeah, looks absolutely fantastic there. Really, really good. Draz, Rebecca, I was going to add to my Catachan Guard army, but then I thought I could do the chaos I have lying around. Then maybe Blood Angels, then Eldar, then Orcs, but finally went with Sisters of Battle. Oh yeah, I saw this. This is a lovely little army. I might have a problem with eBay. Anyway, here's what Sisters of Battle I finished so far. Rhino, Immolator, Sisters of Battle squad with a Heavy Bolter and Flamer, an Eversor Assassin, and the Canoness Viridian, which isn't a second edition model technically, but definitely fits. To do 2 squads of Seraphim, another normal squad, some Alt Sisters, and another Canoness. And here we go. That is looking like a very second edition 1997 Sisters army, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it.
It's looking really cool.
So that's the model from the John Blanche picture on the
this is Viridian here.
One. Yeah. That's crazy good. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's obviously she's a bit bigger because she's a like limited edition model from much later in the modern era.
Right.
But yeah, totally fits. And then I've got one of those, the classic Eversor Assassin. Looking good.
Weirdly, I don't have any of the old classic Assassins. All those gaps in my collection.
I don't have
I've got the Eversor and the Calidus, and then the other two I actually converted 2 of the old Imperial Assassin models into Calexis and Vindicar because I had so many of them back in the day. I've still got a real, what they're called Adamus Assassins. But then these classic Rhinos, I like that all the sort of bendy aerials are complete on these ones.
Yeah. Yeah, mine are not on my Rhinos.
No,
well,
it's
not
really
many
hard.
of them anyway.
And they've
really
got
hard
sculpted detail. Are they're original, are they? Is that a second ed thing? All of those little, all of the Fleur de Lis, they metal add-ons. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, so the Immolator kits came with like metal doors and a little metal front and bits to go on it. Yeah. Not so much for the Rhino, which just came with, was just a Rhino. But yeah, looking great, looking absolutely brilliant. Lovely to see that. It's amazing how just like the Rhinos suddenly make that army look a lot more period. Court of the Yellow King.
That made me think, one of the sad things about no Bring Out Your Lead this year is there's lots of people I normally see like once a year at Bring Out Your Lead.
Oh yeah.
Rebecca being one of them. And
yeah,
that's one of those things that's a little bit of a shame that you don't get to, and we won't get to see lots of cool old Hammer stuff this year. Well, I won't because I'm not going up for anything, but it'll be back next year, I hope.
Another thing I just noticed here with Rebecca's minis is something I noticed when I was looking at your Harlequin photo from the White Dwarf earlier, Russ, is the unremembered, but obviously actually quite common, static grass and brown rims, which was a thing. And your Harlequin in that White Dwarf is painted, the one you're basing it on was that. And I noticed then, it's one of those things you don't actually see when people do throwback models very often, but it was actually quite common.
I actually prefer that colour of brown rim to the green, goblin green rims. I don't mind the goblin green on top, but I don't like the goblin green rims. Even when I was younger in that era, I used to do my rims always, almost always black. But I prefer the brown rims like Rebecca's done them here.
That reminds me of Third. Is that kind of it? They sort of moved to that kind of brown in Third, didn't they?
In my head, Third is all brown, yeah.
There was a lot of these rims, though, also even in Slaves to Darkness. So even going back to like quite early in Rogue Trader, you'd get a lot of non-green rims in there. Black and brown was probably more common. I think Goblin Green was very much, I think, a seconded 40k,
very much a
fancy battle rather than necessarily the Oldhammer thing. It was an Oldhammer thing.
Yeah, quite a lot of dark green, wasn't there? Like super dark green rims.
Anyway, moving on to some real bright green here. Court of the Young King, Tactical Squad Cassius of the Ultramarines. I've been watching minisodes play through the classic Chaos Gate video game. Seeing the classic brightly coloured Ultramarines make me want to paint some up. I used to play that. It's a great game. The new Heresy Mark IV kit felt like the ideal miniatures to use for this. Yeah. With their great big shoulder pads. This actually looks really good.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, they've got that sort of a hunched look from the big shoulder pads that those guys have.
I think the idea of using current Heresy for second ed is just, it's a bit of a, I think everyone's probably thought of that. It's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? Because it is all taken from Rogue Trader and second ed.
So Nathan, I know you're new here, but we typically try not to say that the people contributing have no brain. Sorry about Nathan, everyone. We'll try and get carried out.
I mean, I generally, accidentally insult someone once an episode. That's going to be my thing. That'll be. Sorry, Court of the Young King. This is absolutely fantastic.
Ultramarine players, right?
Hey,
sorry, Bobbie. No, these are looking absolutely great. I really, really like these. I did not realize until looking closer when I was quickly scrolling down, I didn't even realize they were modern models. I was convinced. Looks great. Then on to some pointy ears. Jack has more of the child of Tony Blair Warhammer than John Major Warhammer. That is a way I like of categorizing the eras of Warhammer.
Blair Hammer and Major Hammer.
Major Hammer. So this is a broader go.
Thatcher Hammer.
Thatcher Hammer.
Now, I worry that some of the people we know from Hate Club, if you were to put like Thatcher and Hammer together in the same sentence, they're going to get a different mental picture there of what they want to do with their hammer.
Anyway, Blair Hammer. They're definitely not an abandoned third edition project, but when I have more time, I'll be joining along with the Goblin Green bases. Yes, we have some brown third edition here. Yeah. So these are some Ulthway. Ulthway was like it was the like craft world of choice for second edition, though, wasn't it?
But AOTech.
In second edition, all the helmets were yellow, weren't they? It was black and yellow, not black and bone.
Yeah.
But these are looking very good. These are looking lovely.
I actually think green bases will suit these as well because it'll be a bit of a
they'll offset them.
Bright pop. Yeah,
exactly. The models, Ulthway's always difficult like that. The models have enough bone in them to be quite bright, but the base sort of drags them down a little bit.
More, black and yellow helmets back in the day.
Yeah, they're looking great though. Seer Council wasn't a thing in second either, was it? You just had to take these as a load of different characters. The actual Seer Council was a third or fourth edition thing.
Third edition, I think it was the Black Crusade Codex that was.
Yeah, which was the Ulthway one. Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. These are looking absolutely fantastic. Look forward to seeing how bright they suddenly end up. Space Crusader, David. Here's my contribution to the challenge. I wanted to paint a Genestealer Cult and Imperial Guard army, so I decided to paint up some Mordian Iron Guard as Brood Brothers in classic Genestealer colours. The plan is to build a Brood Brother themed Imperial Guard army to use their rules, and that way I'll have plenty of Brood Brothers for the Genestealer Cult. The blue and purple colours are from 1994 Citadel Colours paint line. These are looking really good.
I think they're brilliant.
Yeah.
So David posted a lot.
Absolutely, like the right colours for these models. They look absolutely like they're made to be painted in these colours.
David's a great painter. He posts a lot in the Old Hammer group. He's a really, really good painter. What's quite funny as well, in that group, there's another Imperial Guard player who's like a staunch Imperial Guard player, and they have this running battle because he's now sort of corrupted his Imperial Guard to the cult. So it's quite funny.
I quite like this. This is the 2nd edition Sentinel. I always quite like this model, like the big stumpy one that's just painted dark blue, because why not? You don't see this one very often, right? You either see the 3rd edition plastic one, or you see the egg thing as like the classic old Sentinel. Yeah. I actually quite like this big stumpy one. I'd like to get a couple of those.
It looks good in these colours, but it looks good in these colours because the colours make it work, not because it's an inherently good model. That's what I would say.
Yeah, but it's fun. I also enjoy that despite any colour changes, the chainsword is still correctly hazard stripes to remind you that chainswords are dangerous.
Absolutely has to stay that way.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant here.
I think it's David's did the box art version of the Hellhound, which had originally inspired me to do this army. But he painted it ages ago, and it was only recently that I put 2 and 2 together that it was the same person.
Oh wow!
It was
brilliant. Well, old hammer veterans on the channel, looking great. Lots of little likes underneath that one. And now we have Ed, who played Nurgle and won Chaos in the Old World. Here's my submission. I'm going to use the Imperial Guard list from Codex Army List book plus Imperial Agents Allies to create a Sensei warband. Oh yes, very Ed. I'm using a hodgepodge of different minis to give it a ragtag look. Some of these are modern minis, including stuff from Ramshackle Games, Checkpoint Miniatures, and Crooked Dice, plus some minis from the era. There are a whole bunch of kit bashes in there as well. No idea how this will work on the table, but we shall see. There we go. What can we spot there? Is that a old rogue psyker? Some of those chunky stormtroopers?
There's all sorts in here, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, there we are. Some interesting bits here.
Some of the droids. I think some of them are for the Ramshackle stuff they print for someone else. Is that a Jacaro in the back? Bottom?
Yeah, Ed, we need some close-ups, mate. You need to get some. Is there an Imperial Assassin back there? Oh, there's some astropaths and things.
There is one of the old Rogue Trader, like pre-Imperial Guard, Imperial Army, pre-Cadian troopers there. Or it might, I think Trooper Harris, I think it might be.
Harris.
Not quite sure. Definitely recognise a couple of them from being very old though.
Yeah, these look fantastic. But yes, it would be lovely to get some close-ups so that we can identify them better. I'm having very much difficulty on my filming screen, but this is going to be very interesting. Sensei, of course, kind of disappeared by 2nd edition, but it's going to be fun to see what you come up with. If anyone doesn't know, by the way, I know we're all old on this, but if anyone doesn't know, then Sensei were essentially the children of the Emperor, and they were essentially Jedi Knights for 40k. They were the opposite of like Chaos Champions, being like Emperor champions. So yeah, that's what that was. And they would sort of ran around with their band of mates doing good everywhere and trying to save.
And the Illuminati were trying to sacrifice them to bring back the Star Child.
Yeah, that's right. But yes, brilliant. Okay, Princeps Tom. This month I finished off just over 1,000 points of 2nd edition Orcs for another army painting challenge, and I've sorted out what I'm going to paint the following along here: more Yandan Eldar, Warp Spiders, and some Phoenix Lords. So here are the Orcs. Look at this. Isn't this amazing?
Yeah, I love seeing the snake bites. Yeah,
Yeah, these are looking fantastic. This terrain is brilliant. The volcano in the background is brilliant. The trees are brilliant, and the brightly coloured orcs on their pigs are brilliant. This is absolutely fantastic. Princess Tom also well known for his bright green salamanders in a few other of these. And then moving on to more pointy-eared Eldar with these guys. So that's a selection of Phoenix Lords down there.
These models are popular, and they're honestly some of my favourite models in the Eldar range, which I love all of it, because like the early Eldar range was almost entirely Jess Goodwin, who is, the best. But the hate that these warp spiders get, I have never understood it. I think they're absolutely fantastic.
I think they were great. Everyone's yelling for them to be replaced at some point, which, I mean, I like old models, so I don't get the whole, I don't get the whole, we need a refresh on this kit thing. Ever. But hey, I think these are great too. This is a mix of, is this the original? No, it is the original Phoenix Lords. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is Garandras. Yeah,
Jane's
and the original Jane's are.
Morgan Ra.
I also very much like, is this the armor cast Wave Serpent, isn't it?
I'm wondering if that's a 3D print though, because it looks like it's been cleaned up.
Couldn't it?
Yeah, it might be a 3D print because it actually looks kind of square and some of the details look decent.
Yeah, the details
it might not be an armor cast model. Not to rip on the old armor cast, that they were, for the time, very serviceable.
Yeah,
that's cool. Like Python guys, like back in my day, very passable.
I think this is going to look great, especially when Tom does it in some absurdly bright Eandon screen. Eandon is blue and yellow, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure on that front prow there's going to be a bunch of freehand to make it look really cool. Big flat area, and he'll do loads of work on it and make it look awesome.
I mean, I remember people doing like
blue. A Latok is blue with white or yellow, depending on the era.
Yeah. Brilliant. All looking very good. So back to the list. Thomas Macariel is back. The Hour of the Wolf is near. Started with 2 Grey Hunters as test models next to a leader with more modern paint scheme in comparison. And I found a collection of suitable units. I have Björn the Fell-Handed, Nigel Stormcaller, Wolfhead Captain, 2 Wolfguard, Iron Priest, 5 Wolfguard Terminators, 10 Bloodclaws, 10 Grey Hunters, 1 Standard Bearer, 1 Rhino, and 1 Land Speeder, along with a Chaplain of Bike that needs to be wolfed up. That is a big Space Wolves army. That's huge, actually. That's more than 1,500 points. There are various bits and pieces missing. So first task is to get everything together then painted. So there's some tests.
That Rhino is the most rogue trader Rhino.
Yeah.
Even the 17 on the front on the doors looks so rogue tradery.
Yeah. That is a fantastic.
I love the fact that loads of these models are still in their blister packs.
Yes, true.
Can we invite Tom on to
open them live on air?
Open them live on the show.
Yeah. See if he fancies doing that. I quite like I always enjoyed the old assault weapon sprue, the power axis from the old assault weapon sprue. I've got a few of those in.
Yeah. I managed to get a lot of those off eBay for a very good price. It made it made my weekend sort of eBay purchases, you know?
I think these are going to look brilliant when they're done. Moving on, D. McRogers, Dave. So, long-time listener, first-time submitter. Hey. Hi, Dave. Yay! Most of the month's work was a stock take of what I had in the attic. Yep, that was our month last month. Managed to dig out enough for 3 infantry squads, a command squad, a sentinel, and 2/3 of a mortar squad. So minimal eBay hunting required. Also set on a scheme and made a solid start on the first infantry squad. Very happy with how they're coming out.
What would those mortars be? I think I might have. I certainly would have. I might have sold them ages ago. I might be able to help with the mortars because I think I might have some metal mortars, even if I don't have the right crew to go with it.
These are the Talons. These are the Talons I was talking about earlier, where they've got a red base and red heads, and it nicely plays. Yeah, that's what I was trying to go for with the Necron Bluegrass. But yeah, they look fantastic. I really like these. I've got a 2nd edition Talon army that I've never really finished off and used. Maybe I should have done that. Who knows?
Also, some of the ones you painted pink for cultists, right?
Originally, yeah, but then I when I first did my cultist army, it was lots of Cawdor Redemptionists and Talons, and eventually I replaced them all with Blackstone Fortress Traitor Guard.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I stripped the rest of the armies so I can use them for different things. I see another chunky sentinel there.
I was about to say another Argo Sentinel.
You wait 25 years and 2 come along at once. What's the chances?
Rogue Trader Commissar.
Yeah.
You can get Talon Rough Riders, can't you? There's an alternate sculpt.
I've got a few.
Yeah.
Victoria Miniatures also do a very good range of stand-in Talons that you can download as STLs. They do male and female versions, and they do all the Rough Riders and things like that, which all the Vic Minis ones really look like the 90s Games Workshop ones. They're really nicely done. So a great way of bulking out a range. Ickbat says, long-time listener, first-time submitter again. Hey! Yay! I've been thinking of this as Project Modern 2nd Edition, where I put together all the things I wish I had when I was 13 years old, including modernish sculpts, but using modernish sculpts. The Tech Marine and Landspeeder are both conversions. I like the silhouette of the new Armageddon Landspeeder, but I wanted to make it a bit more 2nd Edition. Ditch the grav plates, turning them into attitude jets, trimmed down the chest plates on the pilots, added some shoulder pads. Underslung Heavy Flamer is a Horus Heresy one. Now just need to decide on a chapter and some suitable characters. There we are. So it's Modern Models 2nd Editionified.
I won't say it's a no-brainer this time. I don't want to.
Yeah, he definitely brained. Very, very good brain.
Definitely brained. That looks great.
Yeah, this is a really good idea. I also like using that Landspeeder because it looks a little bit like the 2nd Edition one with a big chunky front.
Oh, what chapter to suggest though?
Yeah, exactly. What's a really 2nd edition? I mean, obviously, Blood Angels are really 2nd edition chapter.
Or if you want to be red and not trying to eat everyone all the time, Genesis Marines.
Genesis chapter is a really good one. Yeah,
that's such a second move.
Terminators then could be Deathwing.
Could do Crimson Fist.
Yeah, Crimson Fists would work.
Dark Angels for Deathwing options.
Yeah, then you start having to do stuff though, don't you? If you do Dark Angels, yeah. There's loads of options. We can pick some absurdly bright screens. I always think of things like Eagle Warriors or like White Templars and all those ones that are just like relatively simple schemes that I think work really well for this sort of era.
Death Eagles, so they're mostly silver and then just a few black and red bits.
Yeah. Doom Eagles.
Eagles, that's the ones. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, well, so many options. Looking like a good start, though. I hope it goes well. Let's keep watching. Ogrin Wilson, Tom, I've decided to focus on properly fleshing out my 2nd edition Inquisition force. I'm reworking a Predator and a Rhino to properly fit the paint scheme. This includes freehand hazard stripes and checks because the Inquisitor is fancy. I've also restored an OG Land Raider, replacing some missing parts with era-appropriate alternatives. And the last thing I worked on before this kicked off was a small Talon section for Guard, sharing as I'm just really proud of how they turned out. So here is the fancy Predator, and that does look fancy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like the lamp strips
really
on
nice.
That. Same
Very
on the Rhino.
neat checks. Really neat freehand.
Yeah, looking really, really good there. Then a Land Raider, fill this off with some appropriate parts to make it work. And then, of course, some brilliant Talons here. Al Rahem in a bright green scheme. I like the desert grass there. And then Sergeant and a few Talon guys.
I like the idea of putting the Tarantula inside the Land Raider. Trying to decide if I want to steal that idea.
Oh, yeah.
To replace the always missing heavy bolter.
I have got one of those heavy bolters. So worst case scenario, I could, the plastic ones, I mean, so worst case scenario, I could just make a copy of that one heavy bolter that I have got, but I've got a Tarantula with a pair of las cannons. And I quite like the idea of one of my having the option of las cannons. Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I'm impressed.
Enjoy how incredibly camouflaged this completely hidden Hellhound is.
Where is it? Where's it gone?
I can't see it. It's just so camouflaged.
It's so camouflaged apart from the very explodey bits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is brilliant. They look absolutely fantastic. Well done. I hope the Talons make it into the Inquisition's retinue. Next up is a guy we've never met before. Forgotten by the Gods. Anyone remember him?
No. Rubbish. Move on.
Bad Barry.
Is his name Barry? Right. Yeah.
Barry.
Gary's back, and now he's just a normal person. So Gary said he is not joining in because he isn't doing second edition. And instead, he then got really interested in doing second edition the minute we all started and started stripping his old Nurgle army, which we used to play together loads with this army when we first met and started playing. But it was always built out of loads of bits, and I think he wanted to redo it for ages. So he stripped all the metal Death Guard and started rebuilding them. And as he says here, he didn't have enough period plastic bits, or didn't want to start stripping period plastic. So instead, much like everyone else we said here, he's gone with using modern heresy shoulder pads and backpacks and arms. So it's all the Mark II. Yeah, it works really well, doesn't it?
I think it works partly because although they're slightly bigger, that era didn't really have great proportions anyway, so it just looks like they're even chunkier.
Exactly. Death Guard are meant to be sort of hunched and
exactly
crooked. So yeah, loads of Death Guard. Again, I think he did an army and it's this is 1,500 points with a dreadnought in it or something. You don't need many Plague Marines to do the army.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the next army. I look forward to seeing its green with purple highlighting details. It'll almost certainly happen. Well, I don't know. That's what they were painted as before. Maybe it's going to be a totally different scheme this time. I don't know. But yeah, good progress for someone who isn't doing second edition. Yeah, all looking really good.
It'll be purple and green. So
purple and green. It's going to be green with purple or purple green.
They were purple and green when he strips them, right?
They were purple and green first. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to repaint them exactly how they were.
They were the first of Gary's purple and green armies. I challenge Gary to not do them purple and green.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to look very odd orange and cyan, which is the other colour scheme that everyone always
yeah. Yeah. Okay, John, also a first-time poster. Yay! My progress has consisted entirely of test schemes, but I think I'll go with my Horus Heresy Ultramarine scheme far left, so all my firstborn Space Marines look the same. Please appreciate how well I focused on the foreground rubble.
Well at that, to be fair.
That's lovely foreground rubble, though.
Yeah,
that is lovely rubble.
You can really see. It even looks like there's proper use of weathering powders and everything there.
Yeah,
well done. And the barrel in particular, the barrels at the front are lovely with the dirt over them and the clear staining around them.
Brilliant rubble. Also, this blue guy's nice too. So another Ultramarine army, as is very second edition, a bit brighter than last time. But yeah, I think that's going to look brilliant. Looking forward to seeing how that army pans out. Moving on to more Ultramarines then. Will is back. For second edition, I'm doing the best Marines, the Ultramarines. Trying to copy the Codex photography as closely as possible without losing my mind. I've managed to bag a bunch of old minis at events over the summer, so I've got loads of options to get a full army, including the OG Landspeeder. The Road Trader minis might be recasts, I can't quite tell. So here we go, some original Ultramarines. Bit like Bobbie's army here, classic bright yellow and red flamers. The only way to do flamers. Also, quite like we'll set up the pale blue to fading to white background.
Yeah.
Those Marines, though, that he's worried about whether they're recasts, most of them look at least as good as mine, and I know for a fact mine are Rogue Trader.
Yeah, I mean, this is the era where the recast probably look better.
I don't think the fact they're not very well cast is a particularly good indicator in that era that they're there's one down the bottom that looks like it might be a recast. The base of that and the amount of flash makes me think that maybe that one's a recast. But the rest of them are no worse than anything I own that are definitely genuine.
Yeah.
I've definitely had genuine Rogue Trader era models with double mold lines on.
Yeah,
me too.
These are brilliant. Look, that is actually going to be a really big army, given that Marine armies of this time were like 20 models. This is a huge army. So yes, looking forward to see how that turns out. Chris R, another first timer. Yay! Lots of first timers, isn't it? First timer. So first, I've drafted an Eldar Harlequins 1500 point list made from models in some very old boxes, plus a couple of choice purchases. Started work on the Harlequins, experimenting with a few colors from the recent John Blanche Army Painter range. The bases and style are a bit more road trader than the second edition. So I might add some bright red and yellow elements. Maybe interested free ground black figures. Eldar are going to be void watchers. So lots of dark, bright greens and yellows. Here we go. Big pile of Harlequins here. Lovely bit of John Blanchard in the background. Yeah. These guys looking very good. Yeah, very grim and dark. Looking great, though. I'm interested to see how these are going to turn out. It's an interesting idea. John Blanche scheme Harlequins. Good. I'd like to see what that turns into. Zarfayengel, hello. After the Rivendell Elves from the first half of the year, I decided to broaden my horizons and decided on Space Elves for this Tale of Four Gamers. Craftworld Eandon spoke to me ever since I read about them in my first ever Tyrannid Codex, and I look forward to some Wraith constructs as well as colourful aspect warriors to vary the scheme. I do have a Jez Goodwin sculpt. I do love a Jez Goodwin sculpt. Having now cleaned up the miniatures and put paint on some of them, I love them even more. Really just superb. So far, I only put the base colours on some mono pose guardians and a hero. So this is another little gang here. Lots of fun models in there. Original aspect warriors. And then, these are the guardians I remember. This is like box art guardians from second edition, isn't it?
Well, these look like the plastic ones that came, I think, in a box set, but also came in the I want to say Doom of the Eldar, was it called?
That was a board game.
I think those were slightly different sculpts, but they were similar, but they had like interchangeable weapons and such.
That one had missile launchers and stuff as well.
No, hold on. You're thinking of the Eldar expansion to Space Crusade.
I am,
which was slightly different sculpts. Doom of the Eldar was one of those big Horus Heresy style chit board games.
I just found that.
With Tyranids, I used to have it. But Eldar had a Space Crusade example that were different to these, but based on them. I had that expansion. Eldar Attack, it was called.
Eldar Attack, just found it.
Will Iredale, hi Will. Not a huge amount of progress as I've been distracted by other hobby things, and it's still too hot to paint. So this submission is sponsored by BioStrip 20. Brilliant. So a pile of guys to go into the BioStrip there. Some classic chunky Terminators. The best scout, as we all know.
No, the best scouts are the ones before that. The ones from the previous era.
The Mohican ones. The Mohawk scouts,
the mono-pose plastic ones from Advanced Space Crusade.
Brilliant. They're looking great. Then we're on to Wilco Paints. Been in a field supporting 4,000 scouts, presumably not the same sort of scouts. It is not conducted for finishing things, but this is the start I had the other week. It's a Goth. There he goes.
We finally got some orcs.
Yeah. I mean, it's a start. Having fun, I'm sure, in a field. Probably, is it a jamboree they call one of those things? Yeah, that's what that is. Hope to see more classic orcs. Very good. Moving on to Andrew Raven Robert. Pyre Source Decontamination Facility, Redacted World, Ultimate Segmentum, known as Perisaurs the Guard. What emerges from VAT 20? I think it's
work out what the fuck that is, and I've normally
that is an auto gun. That's the top of an auto gun, I think.
It looks like it might be a combi weapon of some sort.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Which would suggest Orky, but it could also just be like an exhaust port or something.
It could do. I think it's
I was thinking at first it might be like the thumb of a T1000, from like T2.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out in next month's episodes. Thanks for that. And then Carkzilla, hello everyone. First time poster, long time subscriber. Hello, yay! So many first timers. It's really good. Brilliant. A brief bit of background. Started playing at tail end of third edition. Never had the chance to experience second, but I remember staring at my big brother's second edition starter set for a long time. Gave me that starter box. He gave me that same starter box along with his Space Wolves and a few metal minis for Christmas one year. From then on, I was hooked. But I sold the old plastics a long time ago. So when the latest video started, I knew I wanted to join for fun and started rummaging through my pile of opportunity.
I like it when people call it a pile of opportunity. I fucking hate the expression pile of shame.
I found 10 of the old plastic Chaos Space Marines, 8 of the old Monoplatos Plague Marines, 4 metal Plague Marines, some Chaos Space Marines Metal Champions, and 1 Nuance Brew Original Plastic Rhino. Very good. Nice. Seemed like a good force. They needed a leader. My brother's Christmas gift to the rescue. Found an old metal Long Fang that I tried to turn into a Chaos Lord when I was a kid, so why not finish that? This is the mustering of Skyra's Dark Wolves. Yes, very good reasoning for a Chaos army with a Space Wolf. So here they are. Brilliant. Yeah, I remember these Monopose Space Marines. I had a few of these Chaos Space Marines. In fact, I think I've still got a few. And I've got a whole army of those Death Guard, those Monopose Space Marines that I painted quite recently, actually. They're all lovely models. They're all really nice. They've all got exactly the right amount of detail.
Yeah.
I didn't have any of these models.
What?
I never had any of these models.
This is what I played back in the 90s. I played Chaos, so I had loads of these, especially because those plastic ones, the guys that came in they were basically the equivalent of the they were the cheapest box of Chaos Marines you could buy.
Yeah,
they weren't Monopose. They were a couple of different sprues, but they were slightly better than all the other Monopose models. But yeah, it was these guys or the Plague Marines. So everyone had tons of Plague Marines.
I'd imagine points for pounds. That box of like 5 Plague Marines that you could get for $5 back then must have been, incredible deal.
Yeah, 3 of those and you've got an army. Yeah. That's all looking brilliant. So good. I like the idea. Good way of using up some old models, which is often the point of all these things. Nearing the end here. Chancellor of the Exchequer. I wanted to recreate the Eldar Corsairs from the Forge World Doom of Mymiara book. I 3D modeled the helmets to match the armor plates. The bases aren't Goblin Green, but the second edition Eldar Codex is Eldar Pirates, so they count, even if the weapons loadout probably doesn't. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is a lovely scheme.
Yeah, that's really cool. Nice.
Really nice.
Yeah, I like that. Mymiara, you never really see Mymiara. It was like I haven't done that one as a video, I think, yet. I've done some of the others, Orpheus I did, but Mymiara's on the list to do. It's a really interesting story. Space Wolves, Eldar Corsairs.
Wasn't done by Alan Bly, but managed to still be a decent story, if I remember.
No,
I don't think it was Alan Bly anyway.
No, it wasn't Alan Bly. No, it was, I can't remember her name.
Nor can I. I remembered that it was a woman, but I can't remember her name.
It was really good though. A really good little story of like Winter Cadians and Space Wolves and Corsairs with Shadow Spectres. Yeah, they're looking great.
I've still got my Shadow Spectres to do at some point in my life.
Maybe we should do Mymiara one day. Maybe we will. The Goodab War is back. I still haven't decided on an army I want to commit to. Tell me to decide. I painted a Sisters of Battle as a test model. Fortunately, I don't have an original second edition one. So really lent into the bright primary colours. Happy with the result, but I think there's some other tests to do before I start full army accumulation. Very nice. Nice and simple. A Sisters of Battle in primary colours.
And on a Goblin Green base.
Beautiful job.
And on a bright green base. Yeah. This is exactly what this should be. Yes, good, well done. We like them. I hope you find an army soon. And then Leybourne paints. My God, there's loads of submissions this week. It's a long one. When I was young, I had 2 armies seemed impossible to paint, White Scars and Imperial Fist. Well, I'm about to show young Peter I am not afraid anymore. Imperial Fist it is. This started as I'll paint what I have. Old Assault on Blackreach starter box, 10 extra Monopose Marines, some characters. Then the chase started. Now I have 10 Metal Scouts, 2 Metal Terminators and a Chaplain. But then I won an auction for a second edition starter box. So all of that stuff, plus a ton of orcs. So this is going to be an Imperial Fist army.
Nice.
Yeah, loads there.
Yeah. I always approve of painting yellow.
Yeah, well, now it's a lot easier than it was back then. There's, of course, the box art. And here is all the other stuff that comes in that. Oh, my God, those grots. There was a guy who used to be on Daka Daka called Bucket of Grots who just had literally hundreds of these in a bucket and would just play Grot Army with a bucket of grots. It was brilliant. Looking forward to seeing how you do the yellows on those. I hope it's not period colours. Shucker23, Dan, great impetus to paint up the second edition Guard. I've been acquiring via eBay for years. Ended up with one of each of the second edition sculpts that were out of range of my childhood budget. Working on the Talon scheme now, bonus Imperial Fist test mod.
There's another ugly walker in the background.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's got one. I've got to get me some of them. These are looking great. One of everything, including, I think that's a third edition Primaris Psyker. These are great. And then working on the Talon one. Yeah, I do like, I always remember that Imperial Guard armies of this era, when you saw them in White Dwarf, were always ad hoc. as in they always were made up of mixed platoons because, of course, the heavy metal guys are painted like 2 squads of every kit.
Yeah.
So they always played with like, it's two squads. It's a squad of Catachans and a squad of Cadians and a squad of Talons and a squad of Mordians in the same army.
I forgot that at one stage there was the sexy commissar.
There was. Oh God, remember that?
I have that miniature. I think I'm going to paint it up for this army. But
Very nice.
How are you going to do her dress? I think she should be wearing her black coat, but then some sort of. Do you think you can do it as a see-through negligee?
I don't think my painting skills are going to be quite up for that, but we'll see what I manage.
It was leaning into a certain attitude of the era, that model, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like it reminds. What's the other one that reminds me of? Is Cruella de Vil. If anyone remembers that sculpt, which was like, she's totally wearing a latex bodysuit, and of course, no one painted her that way. Yeah. It's definitely of an era. Anyway, it is the era we're doing. So there we go. That is the end of the community updates. Thank you, everyone. It's incredible to see so many new people joining, new people giving submissions, a huge variety of armies. Weirdly, not that. So a lot of Imperial Guard, a lot of Eldar, a lot of Space Marines, 1 Orc player. Not so many Necrons and Tyranids. So I'm glad that we've both brought those along. A couple of Chaos, which is nice. I think
we've got quite a good spread. A lot of Space Marines and a lot of Eldar, but you've got a good amount of Imperial Guard in there.
Is there anything missing? I don't think there's anything with a proper codex missing because there's no, you know what? There's not a proper Space Wolf. No, there is. No, Macariel's doing Space Wolves. No one's doing Dark Angels.
Angels of Death.
Maybe that should influence our Space Marine player who doesn't know what he's doing yet, because no one on the thread is doing Angels of Death. And of course, if you don't want to do Blood Angels, there are successor chapters in that book.
We've got no Gene Stealer. We've got Tyranids, but no Gene Stealer. No, we have got Gene Stealer cult. Tell a lie.
Yeah. So I mean, it's actually a pretty good spread, especially once you factor in our
the Black Codex. It is pretty much squats that we're missing.
Yeah. And I could just do that because I've already got a metal squat army. Be fine. Brilliant. Well, look, thanks everyone. Thank you for coming and playing. A great selection of stuff to look at. We'll be back in a month. If you want to join in, you know where to do it. Go to the Patreon. All the links are in the thing below. Otherwise, we will see you in a month for episode 3 of Tale of 4 Gamers, hopefully with some details of an event to book. Thanks, the gamers. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.